From Flava TV, this is Start to Finish Show, a show about entrepreneurs, change makers, and innovators, and a little bit about their brands and how they got started from the beginning to where they are today. On our great show today, we have an amazing man. His name is Christopher KAWEWE, and he is the founder of Lembi Protection Systems. And we're here to talk about waste management and some of the big impacts it's making, not just for the country, for the environment, and for employment opportunities. Let's go and see what he's got for us today.
Come in.
Thank you.
Mr.
KAWEWE, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Very, very, very well.
Good
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much for having me. A long time, huh?
Long time in this.
You're getting to
Where have you been hiding?
I've been hiding everywhere, but not here. So today we thought we'd come
Okay.
and really get to hear what's happening at the source.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Lembi Protective Systems.
Yeah.
This is your company.
Yes.
And I'm sure you know what we do.
Yes.
This is our little office.
Yes.
This is the director's office. This is where we sit. Then this is the desk for our gentleman who is responsible for finance and admin. Then this is the desk for our admin assistant. There's another desk there for our accountant.
Okay.
So this is our little setup.
Fantastic, fantastic.
I think it's your first time to be here.
It is my first time and I'm really
From the
excited
time
to
we
see
met.
it. Exactly.
Oh.
I just heard about it
Good
and I
to
said
see you.
today we're here. So
Good to see
industrial
you.
area, we came through
Okay.
and really happy. Now I don't know if you mind showing us also outside.
No problem. We can
Let's
go
see
ahead.
those machines.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you. I'll take it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So this is where we operate from. Yeah, this is our refuse compactor.
Yes.
It's about 18 to 20 tons.
Yes.
This is the main machine that has been helping us really. It has really helped us move our operations.
Okay.
I think it has really moved our operations to put them to another level because we struggled a bit in terms of equipment.
Yes.
But I think we've really upped our performance.
So tell me, I mean, you've got the trucks here, but how was it for you in the beginning? How did you get into this business?
Ideally, I used to work for a company called Quattro. It used to be involved into waste management and also busing. It had a busing contract with Kansanshi and also waste management.
This is in Solwezi, you said?
That was in Solwezi, yes.
Yeah.
I worked for them for about 8 years. I was responsible for waste management. It was part of the things that I used to do every day.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I developed the interest because there was nobody that was servicing the community in Solwezi. So eventually that's how I was called upon. Then I resuscitated my company, and eventually Solwezi also advertised, and that's how we got our first contract.
Wow.
But yeah, there was a bit of some confusion. We were given a different zone that we didn't tender for, so eventually it couldn't work out. But then 2019, with the enactment of the Solid Waste Regulation and Management Act, Kitwe also advertised, and that's how we tendered for Kitwe. We did a very good proposal. And 2019, that's how we were awarded this contract.
Right.
So now we are here.
Wow. So that was about 2 years ago, thereabouts?
Yeah, but that was about 2 years, 3 years ago. Yes.
So what was it like in terms of those early days? Because I know you had at least experience working before with Quattro, but in terms of capital, skills, were there things maybe you didn't realize as now a business owner? What was the transition like for you?
The transition was just okay. The only challenge we had, because it wasn't the first time I had a contract with Kansanshi Mine.
Okay.
It was labor hire contract, so that's why I got a bit of some money to pump into this business that I'm doing today. Because the contract we had with Kansanshi Mine was just we only ran it for 3 years, then 2020 it ended. That's how now we concentrated on waste management because I could see the niche that was in that industry. And we thought maybe we can play a role and play something out and make a bit of some profit out of it. Yes, because of the passion that I had for cleaning our community. because at one point I was in Sweden. That's where we learned some of these things to do with waste.
Yeah.
So that's where I developed the interest to do solid waste collection.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So compared to Sweden, how would you fare Zambia? I mean, obviously you got the vision that you were sharing it with me earlier, but could you share a little bit more about the gaps you see and maybe we can fix that?
European countries, especially Scandinavian countries like Sweden, they are well organized because I think the amount of waste they take to their dump site is only about less than 2%.
Really?
All the waste is either recycled or taken back into the economy.
Wow.
So, with the enactment of the new law by government, I think we are in the right direction because we've started with the collections first of all. So now there's a lot that is provided for in the law. So it's talking about recycling, it's talking about issues to do with treatment of waste. There's a lot that is involved. So I think with these contracts that the government has started giving out for solid waste, I think it's a step in the right direction because then we are building more capacity in the SMEs.
Yes.
Because these contracts are given to SMEs, and then once we build their capacity in the SMEs, then eventually we'll cross over to the next step of now recycling instead of just dumping at the dump site. What value are we going to make out of the waste that we are dumping at the dump site? And this is what these European countries are doing. They are recycling a lot of their waste. And all I can say is I think we are in the right direction. With the first step has been done by ensuring that we are given these zones, and then each and every zone has got a zone manager. So that is a step in the right direction. So we can even commend the government for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So you mentioned there was like 2% is what's being wasted in the West. What percentage do you think Zambia is sitting at the moment? Just a guesstimate.
If I were to estimate, I think maybe 80% goes to the dump site. Maybe 20% is what goes back into the economy. What I'm trying to say is, we talk about circular economy, moving away from linear economy. So now we've got customers that are already buying carton boxes from us. We've got customers that are already buying plastics from us. We've got customers that are already buying these PEP bottles, the mineral water drinking bottles. They're already buying. So that's why maybe I can say maybe 20% goes back into the economy, then 80% is just dumped at the dump site. So that's why we need to invest more into recycling and these other activities that that are being done in the European countries. Like Sweden, for instance.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. So you obviously had that experience working in the job form of being in the waste management. But I'm very curious in terms of like some of the necessary steps or attitudes that you did that made you maybe more successful, because you and I were discussing, we're both in the space where some other people are taking on garbage collection and not doing it so successfully. So what attitudes and steps did you think you did necessary for success that you think other people may be neglecting at the beginning phases of their business?
I think it's just one word, consistency.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
That's all. When you agree with a client, in our case, we collect garbage from Monday up to Saturday, except for Sundays. We have clients that we collect on Monday. We have clients that we collect on Tuesdays. We have clients that we collect on Wednesdays, clients that we collect on Thursdays, clients that we collect on Fridays and Saturday. So now, if you miss any one of the days, then it creates a problem in terms of collection for the rest of the days. So now, you need to invest so much into consistency by being consistent so that every day you collect, then you don't have problems with the client. Why would the client want to pay you for a service that has not been rendered?
That's true.
So when you are consistent, when say Monday you have to collect on Monday. Tuesday you have to collect on Tuesday. We've got certain clients that we collect every day. So that has helped us up our performance because we have to collect every day. If we don't collect on a particular day, then we have issues. They can even give us a non-conformance. So that issue of consistency is something that we've been preaching about even to our workers. So consistency has really helped us and get to where we are today. Yes.
And I think even with that note, that's how we even got to know you, because the consistency led to a good reputation with the Kitu Council, who recommended me to talk to you. So really want to acknowledge you for that. And what about in terms of what action steps did you take, I guess, to reap the greatest rewards? What were the main things that you did in the consistency part maybe that make you stand out compared to other competitors in the market?
I'll be very honest with you. I had to borrow.
Yes.
I had to borrow. Why did I have to borrow? I had to borrow so I can buy a truck like this one. Because these trucks are expensive, very expensive to import. So if you don't have the finances to run a business, and then you are very hopeful, you've got a vision, you've got a passion to do the job, borrow, because you know that you are going to invest into something that is going to pay you back. Yeah. I didn't borrow to go and eat. No, I borrowed in order to get a truck like this one. So when we got a truck like this one, it really upped our performance, and that's what made us stand out, unlike the rest of them. So it's really helped us a lot, so that we up our performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. So why is it some people then find it hard to borrow or scale? Because that's a conversation we keep hearing about, capacity build, but you can't capacity build without borrowing, right? If I'm hearing
some people don't want to borrow because the default rates in Zambia, quite right, are very high. Default rates are very high, so, and then this I don't know whether I can call it the notion that these banks are expensive, borrowing. If you borrow, you don't borrow for the right reasons, then you have difficulties sustaining your contract. But if you borrow for the right reasons, then you know what you're investing into.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't touch that money unless it's been budgeted for. So I would urge my fellow SMEs, I know borrowing for the sake of buying an equipment that is going to up your performance, I don't have a problem with that. So they should just go ahead and just borrow for as long as they know they'll put it to good use. So not that notion to say, no, borrowing will land you into problems. For as long as you think it will land you into problems, then you're already defeated in your head. And then once you are defeated in your head, then it's nothing over. Is going to put into practice.
True.
Yes.
True. So attitude's quite a big part of this, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about some failures? I mean, I know we've been in business a while together, but like, what are some of the momentous failures that you remember in your journey? What did you do that was a total failure and you remember that and might have set you back in business? Are there any that come to mind?
Most of the failures have to do with breakdowns.
Okay.
You know, these equipments that we are buying are second-hand equipment. They are coming from the UK. Take, for instance, this is a Danish model. It's been phased out in the UK, so it's no longer there. That is a Danish model. It's been phased out in the UK. It's no longer there. So getting parts is quite been a challenge. Yeah. So some of the failures I would refer to maybe the type of equipment that we bought. Probably we might have bought an equipment that is better in terms of spares, because these are very difficult in terms of getting spares.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so these are some of the pitfalls that we've had to go through, but they are learning points and stepping stones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What about any character failures? Anything that you did something and how did that change you? If you had any, in terms of as you were growing in your self-employment?
You know, our business is cross-cutting.
Yes.
You deal with a lot of customers. Yes. We've had situations where a client doesn't pay you as per agreement in 30 days. He pays you after 3 months. You get mad on them, you shout at them. But when they pay you again, you still want to go back to them. So let's maintain our calm, so that even when you are a customer is owing you some money, you know that probably they're just going through difficulties. Once they pay you, you enjoy the money. So those are some of the pitfalls that we've had to go through, especially with the experience we've been through with dealing with clients.
Difficult clients, or
difficult clients, yes. But you'll find that maybe 2 months they will not pay you, but later on they just improve. Yeah. But then when they pay you, how do you now get back that relationship to want them to pay you back again for the following months? Yeah. So it becomes a challenge, especially if you don't hold yourself. So meaning, what I'm trying to say is, be calm when you are dealing with clients. Sometimes they're going through difficulties, things like, bear with them. At one point or the other, they'll pay you. So once they pay you, again, you enjoy the relationship with them. Yeah,
no, it's like anything in life.
Yeah.
So let's maybe move to the current situation now. You've been in business almost 2 years, and congratulations. We've seen some big growth in some of even the zones you're taking up that other people can't manage. But what sort of impact do you think you're making in the copper belt, and how do you measure that yourself, personally?
The impact has been there, especially You know, on the KAWEWE belt, we've only had one public company called KAWEWE.
Yes.
That I can mention KAWEWE because, I mean, that's a public limited company owned by the government. That's the only company that was doing garbage collection. The rest of them were very small and very, very small actually. So now, because of our consistency, clients have had to even commend us to say, look, I think you've created an impact in Kitwe because of your being consistent. And I remember 2 weeks ago, because the council subzoned certain zones, so they conducted a seminar for these that were awarded the contracts, the newly ones under the subzones. They made mention of, Kitwe City Council made mention of Lembi to say, one day you also be like Lembi. So then I started thinking to myself, okay, so the effort that I've been putting in now has started to pay off. So I think we are a trendsetter in this industry because, no other waste manager in Kitwe can even be compared to what we are doing, the effort that we are putting in through. So we are setting the trends here in Kitwe. Maybe even on the KAWEWE belt as a whole.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I would say
yes.
so. Yeah.
Because most of them are just the smaller SMEs who don't have the kind of equipment that we currently have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you also mentioned you employ some people, because a big part of what we're trying to do on this show is showcase SMEs, because we really believe they're the solution to unemployment in this country.
Correct.
So how many people in your team, and what are your maybe highlights with some of the employment solutions you've created?
Well, currently we are employing 26 employees. Yeah, some of the guys work on the trucks, some of the guys are admin staff. Some of the guys work at ECLMO, and then some of the guys work at hospital. They are the ones that are sorting the waste at the hospital. So at least it has had an impact.
That's great.
In terms of job creation,
yes.
We've provided employment to about 26 people, which on average, we are supporting like one person supports about
6 to 10.
So in short, we are supporting about 100 people. So definitely it has had an impact on in terms of job creation.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. So if they're looking back, like just from your current situation, are there any things in the past maybe you could have done differently? And if so, what was it? To get here in a safer place, or is there anything that you look back? So if I could do this all over again, what would you change? I
would buy different equipment other than Dennis.
What do you mean?
I should have bought a different brand, not Dennis.
Okay.
This will give you a lot of headache.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they're just more from the parts, or
yes, mostly because they've been phased out. So in terms of finding parts, you have a lot of headache. We should have bought brands like maybe Mercedes-Benz. We should have bought brands like maybe Isuzu, maybe Nissan, UD. They are better brands as compared to Dennis. They are a very difficult brand to find spares.
Find parts, because they're also been, as you said, made out of supply.
Yeah, they are obsolete.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, now just a couple of questions more here. I'm very interested in the future, because we were talking about vision. So maybe next 3 to 5 years, what do you see for Lembi? What do you imagine happening for you if everything worked out to your plans?
In the next 3 to 5 years, what we want to do is, quite all right, we are visionary. We don't want to concentrate just on garbage collection, because then we are not doing justice to the environment.
That's right.
We want to cross over and bridge the gap by ensuring that what we are collecting is sorted. Once it's sorted, is taken back into the economy. So what I'm trying to say is, we're trying to set up a workshop or a facility, what we call a transfer station according to the law. Once we set up a transfer station, we'll be segregating all the waste. And then once we segregate the waste, then people will be coming. These people are what we call the aggregators will come on board, start buying this waste, so that we create another revenue stream. That in itself is going to save our environment, or protect our environment rather. That in itself will ensure that we provide jobs, because we employ a lot of people that will be sorting out the waste, and we are talking about maybe 50 people, maybe 60 people. So it will be job creation that will be that will be involved in there.
Wow.
Then that in itself, I think it will be a copycat, because to others that are also involved into solid waste, because The only business people are talking about now is just collection of waste. We have to do the entire integrated waste management system.
True.
So we collect the waste, sort it out, sell it off, then put it back in the economy, so that what we are dumping at the dump site is minimum. Because currently, where we are dumping at Ichimpe dump site, the council made mention that the dump site within less than 5 years, I think, is going to be full.
Yeah.
So they threw the options to us, the SMEs, to say, what is it that you can do? Then we started thinking to say, why don't we just set up a transfer station so that whatever we collect is sorted out and then brought back in. Then we'll be saving our dump site, because Kitwe doesn't have land. Yeah, if that dump site gets full, then eventually we'll have nowhere to dump. Yes, so 3 years to 5 years, this is what we'll be thinking about. And we'll be one of the suppliers of waste.
Yeah.
Mind you, in other countries like Sweden, actually Sweden buys a lot of waste from Italy.
Yeah.
So they import a lot of waste for their recycling purposes and even production of energy. Yeah, because most of their energy comes from recycled materials.
And biogas and things
biogas,
like that.
yes,
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, no, that's really important.
So that's where we see ourselves.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a couple last final questions here. Maybe looking back at your younger self, what advice would you have given the younger self had you had the experience that you had?
I would advise young and upcoming people to let's be focused in whatever we are doing. Sometimes I think to myself, I should have started this business maybe 10 years ago.
I know, yeah.
Let's be focused. If you want to be a waste manager, focus on waste alone, and make sure that you develop the competence, become proficient in that field, and eventually you'll be a professional. You'll be amazed. Most of these guys that are working in the European countries, they are experts in their own field. You can't lie nothing to him, because he knows the averages, he knows what type of waste is recyclable. Deal with him from every angle of the law, he knows about it. Every angle of operations, he knows about. Every angle of administration, he knows about it. So that you develop that capacity within yourself. And then once you develop the capacity within yourself, then everything else will flow through. So I started thinking to myself, like, if you want to be an agriculturalist, then develop an interest in learning how agriculture is done. If you want to be a waste manager, develop an interest on how recycling is done. Develop an interest on knowing how these trucks operate, where you can get these trucks from, how you can obtain financing, things like that. So that's what I'm talking about. Because this idea of general dealing, this business comes here today, you jump on it, you'll be making some losses eventually, then you'll be losing your money. So if you want to focus your attention on one thing, focus your attention on one thing, and that's what is going to build our capacities as SMEs. Because, we believe that some businesses are very slow in terms of making profit, but once you become an expert, definitely you'll flow through.
No, definitely. Just a couple of last questions here. I want to first maybe acknowledge you, Mr. Christopher. I think a lot of people, as you said, are not as consistent in business, but they're not also consistent, I think, in the sense of coming across on trying to help other people. So I wanted to acknowledge you and saying, even from the day we met to today, the couple of meetings we've had, you've been a very consistent person, and I think one person that's a good standard in the community that I think a lot of people, if they have the time, this is why I want to have you on the show, to come and say this is a good model of a Zambian SME, and obviously one trying to solve the problems rather than create more. So thank you very much for being a great example.
Thank you for coming. It's my pleasure. I'm grateful for that.
Exactly. So two last questions here. So now these ones I've put in here because I was always curious about you in this area, but are there maybe any other questions that you'd want people to ask about you that they don't know about, that maybe you'd want to be asked, so that for the audience is something they don't know about you that you'd want them to know?
I'm just one person who has got a passion for environmental management. So nothing. I can't say much. I wouldn't say much, but I've just got that passion to clean our cities, because I want smart cities, and Yeah, very clean environment. We always talk about Rwanda.
Yes.
They started a long time ago, and they put some personal efforts into it. And the other thing I can say probably is with the new law that the government has enacted, let's ensure that all the stakeholders embrace it. Us who are into solid waste collection should embrace it by being following what the law has provided for.
Yeah.
The local authorities also, let them do their job by enforcing this law. And even the government itself. I think once we do that, then you see that this issue of waste management is going to be something that is going to work for this country. But for as long as we don't pay particular attention to whatever we're supposed to do as our responsibilities, then this thing will fail and it will continue being a talk show. We'll keep talking, nothing will change. So let the local authorities do their job by ensuring that they enforce these laws, and let waste collectors also do their job by ensuring that they register as many clients as they can, so that they ensure that they make some profit for themselves, they clean our cities. Eventually, once we come up together as collaborative effort, then we are going to ensure that our cities are clean.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the passion that I have for this field that I'm involved in.
Yeah, no, that's really true. Me too. And just a last question now. Like, let's imagine you are at the end of your life. Okay, everything you've done, your machinery, the journals, content you produce, everything has to go with you to the next life. But you've left with a piece of paper and a pen, and there's just 3 lessons, life lessons that you'd like to impart to the rest of the world. What would those things be?
3 lessons.
Yes, that you've learned in your life that you think these are worth sharing with future generation. What would they be?
Yeah, of course, consistency, being focused, and being visionary.
Okay.
You are consistent. You want a future that you want to see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you keep working on it. No matter the stumbling blocks that you are going to meet on the way, you still focus because you know what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Imagine you are running in a race and then somebody tells you, you are a failure. Then you start looking at that person. No. So just be focused and continue going in the same path you are going. You'll make it in life.
Yeah.
So consistency, be focused, and be visionary.
Wow.
You don't have to just be doing what we are doing today. Think about 10 years. What is it that you want to be 10 years from now? Because when we started in 2020, I think our workforce was just about 9, but eventually we started growing.
Yes.
And we are trying to reach a target of about 100 employees.
Wow.
So all these 3 words have helped us reach where we are today.
Wow.
Yes.
No, thank you. Mr. KAWEWE, thank you very, very much for your time. Really appreciate it. So there you have it, guys. Start to finish with Mr. KAWEWE from Lembi Investment Enterprise. And we're very, 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 very privileged to have you on the show. And last question, actually. How do people reach you? If someone wants to get in touch, get a contract from you, Lembi Protection Systems, yeah? How do we get in touch with you? You've got social media, phone calls? How do we do it?
Yes, our social media platform in the name of Lembi Protective Systems is still being worked on.
Okay.
It's something that we're still working on. Actually, we want to attend some social media, what do you call them?
Courses,
digital marketing.
Yeah, digital marketing.
Courses
we can
where,
help you with that.
Yeah, then personally, I have a Facebook account, which is Chris KAWEWE, where people can reach me, and my phone number is 0968 508155, and our email address is kawewec@yahoo.com or lembiprotectivesystems@gmail.com.
Okay, they can reach you there and ask for a quote.
Yes, and then our physical address is, we are just off Nyerere Road, just opposite Coney Agencies, the 3rd garage on your right-hand side.
Perfect.
That's where we are.
Perfect.
Yes.
So there you have it, gentlemen and ladies. Please come through, come and visit, and hear from a visionary himself. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.